So what you're going to need is a canvas, and we usually use 8 by 10 because it's easy to finish in the time. Some acrylic paints with a variety of different colors, a variety of different brushes and different sizes, a container that you can use as a palette, so sometimes people will use old plastic containers, and then something for the water for your brushes. So what you're going to do is you're going to get the following colors. And it's a little bit hard to see in the video, but you're going to get about 2 different colors of blue, which those are at the top, 2 different greens, so that's going to help us to make some different turquoise and teals and orange, some white, and then a yellow and a light yellow. So you know, usually you just want a couple different versions of each different color so that you can mix them together, because that helps to give a more interesting picture. So you're going to start the painting doing the background to foreground. So the furthest part back is going to be the sky. And so what we're going to do is we're going to mix the 3, it's an accidental mixing of the green there, but we're going to mix the yellow and the 2 yellows and the white together so that we can do this background here. And you're going to try to paint in the same direction, whichever direction you want to paint, whether it's horizontal or vertical. You're just going to try to do that in just the same direction the whole time. And you're going to paint just that background part first, the top, trying to cover. Now my sky is a little bit more yellow than maybe you might like it. You could do different colors. So if you want to do a lighter yellow sky, if you want to do an orange sky and change the color of your sun, you're welcome to change the colors in it. But, you know, for this example, you're just going to kind of see, you know, my version of it, and you can kind of make up your own. So once I have that done, I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to see if I need another coat or not once it's dry a little bit. So you're going to give it probably, you know, 5 minutes to dry. What you can do is if you have a hair dryer at home, you can use your hair dryer on it, and that's going to help it to dry faster. And you don't have to do the entire thing because that yellow part is only the top part of the sky in this painting. So, right, so next we're going to start this part of the wave. So what we did is we mixed the light green and the dark blue, and then this dark green together to make sort of a teal color for that bottom part of the ocean. And then what we're going to do is you just kind of want to define the line around it. And again, you're going to paint this in, and again, you're going to try to do all of your strokes in the same direction, whatever direction that is that you choose. I'm doing this more horizontal because that's kind of usually the movement of the ocean. So, but you can do it either way. You just want to be consistent about whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, so this time then you're going to make a little bit darker of a teal, which is adding a little bit of the dark blue to that. And then we're going to do those parts of the wave on the side, like this. And you're going to see, you know, that it, again, because it's going over the yellow, it's not going to completely cover it. That's okay. We can go back later with our small brushes and go in for detail. Right now we're just trying to get those basic colors in and kind of fill in that. Now what I'm doing is actually I made a little bit of a darker green to go over this with than the one that was there, so that it fills in better and it stands out more. So again, this is an example of kind of changing the color, that you're just kind of going to go in and darken it. And if you're having trouble with the lines, that you know your lines are not being as clean as you want, you just want to wet your brush a little bit, and that will help the lines around the edges be cleaner. And if you feel like your hand is not steady enough, you can always use a pencil and kind of trace all this out beforehand, so that you know where you're filling in rather than just kind of freehand putting those lines in. Right, and now I'm just going to try to do a second coat of some of this just to cover a little bit better. And for this one, I'm actually going to, change the direction of my lines just so it's cleaner. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one over here. And again, you might go back and forth in the direction to fill in, but you want to, in the end, get all of your strokes to go in the same direction. Even if during the painting you kind of go back and forth. And as you see right here, that's an example of that edge. I just kind of wet the brush so it's smoother. I'm going to go back over this now. Alright, and so even though we're not done completely with those waves, we are going to do the sun in the background now. So, and again, this is one where you can trace it. I'm just going to put that in a little bit of water so my line is better. Trace it out, use a, circular container or something you have at home to trace it and get the right shape if that's something you want to do. If you're worried that your work isn't going to be as perfect as you want it to be, then, tracing is a good way to do it. But, for this, I'm going to do the best I can to have it be as straight. Now I'm just going to dip my brush in a little bit of yellow, as you see here, and that's going to kind of help it to not be so dark. And then we're going to get a very thin brush and put it in the white, thin brush like this. And we're going to start doing these lines like this along the edges between the colors. And again, you're going to dip the brush in water to make it thinner so that you can get a better line. So what I'm going to do here is get these just like that. So now we're going to just go over these lines again with another coat of the white just so it's a little bit darker. Okay, so you can see those lines are much darker, and now we're just doing these last lines on the wave. And then we're going to go over them a little bit darker once they're dried too. And then pretty much we're going to be done unless you want to go back in and do any detail or finishing.